Hello and welcome to the Long Talk here on New Zealand Sports Radio. And today I've got a real fun one. We've got Billy Stairmand, who is a international surfboarder who's on his way to the Olympics, hopefully. How you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Not so bad, not so bad. So obviously we've been in lockdown, but surfing was one of those ones that's under level 3 was allowed to get out there. So did you was that a big relief for you to get back on the water?
Yeah, for me, unfortunately, I've been injured for the last 2 months. So, yeah, just before lockdown, I was competing in Australia, and I did an error and tore my MCL. So, yeah, I had to compete in Manly with a torn MCL, and then unfortunately, everything got locked down. But for me, it was probably the best thing that possibly could have happened in the whole of surfing history. So, yeah, it's been pretty tough watching, to be honest, watching all those surfers out there. But yeah, for me, I'm just rehabbing and recovering at the moment. So, yeah.
So how long do you think you're going to be before you're sort of back to training, then back to competing?
I've been training the whole lockdown. Obviously, not specifically on my knee, but everything else. I've used this time kind of as a training program. I probably wouldn't have done this much training before, so it's good for me. I'm working on stuff that I should have done ages ago, and obviously resting my knee up. But now I'm in the stage of kind of starting to strengthen it, and should be maybe 3, maybe 4 more weeks out of the water, and then I should be strong, fit, and healthy, and ready to go. And I cannot wait.
Do you have any idea as to what as to what that's going to look like when to go? I mean, do you know what competitions are going to be open?
Yeah, it's still a bit of a grey area. I haven't kind of heard too much. Obviously, I'm kind of just focusing on my rehabbing at the moment, and I have been thinking about maybe if they're going to start competing in New Zealand, start the New Zealand circuit up again, and because we missed out on a backdoor contest here in Raglan and a Rip Curl one here in Raglan, and obviously there's South Island contests and a few contests here and there. So it'd be cool to kind of get us up and running again and kind of start, put the rash shirt back on and get into the swing of things again, because I miss competing. I'm so competitive, and I love competing, especially here at home and in front of friends and family, and you get to see all your good mates. So level 2's coming up now, and yeah, hopefully we can put the rashy on again soon.
So surely at this time of year, it's a bit more than just a rashy, isn't it? We're talking dry suits, and isn't it a bit cold? Don't you? Would this be sort of heading towards your off season normally?
For us, for me, I'm personally travel a lot. So of the World Qualifying Series, for instance, we kind of travel around and follow the summer, which isn't necessarily good for waves. But it brings all the crowds and all the money into for sponsors and stuff. So for me, I'm usually not home that often over winter. Either end of June, I think we were meant to go to South Africa, and then end of July was meant to be the Olympics, and another one in Huntington Beach in Europe and stuff like that. So we kind of miss a bit of winter, but now I guess we've got all this time on our hands. It's really good for waves this time of year in New Zealand. So it's a good opportunity to maybe explore a little bit more of our beautiful country and get some cool and cold waves. But yeah, I enjoy this time of year at home, and yeah, I'm cherishing it for sure right now.
Oh, well, you're unlike me. I'm cold. I'm all wrapped up. So it's interesting there, because I mean, surfing has got this real kind of chilled out image on the beach. It's more about the vibe and the feeling the ocean than it's about competition. But you say you're really competitive. So how do those two kind of image? How does that kind of image and that kind of competition culture, do they clash? How do they work together?
Yeah, well, now I think there's more of there's a free surf side, and then there's a competition side.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of split up a little bit. When a few years ago, it was almost like people could free surf and compete, and it was kind of like one thing. There was a lot of partying, and everyone wouldn't really take it seriously. But now it's almost a divide where people go and chase really good waves and kind of almost take it as a holiday, and they get all these amazing video footage, and then there's another side of it, really professional training all the time, eating healthy and competing a lot. So For me, I enjoy the ocean and I enjoy all the elements out there. Like, for instance, I went for a paddle in like the craziest storm in Raglan the other day, and just in the harbour, just to get in the ocean and feel, the energy. So, for me, I kind of take those things into my competition and kind of enjoy all those elements of it. And yeah, I've been competitive since I was young, and in anything I do, like I used to play basketball, and I skate a lot, and I play golf. So um, in any of those sports I play, I'm super competitive, and I want to win. I want to beat everyone and anyone. And so it's kind of just, I guess, as a young age, it's kind of just followed me the whole way, and I use it as a driving force. Yeah.
So, what was your first sporting memory?
My first big sporting memory was the National Scholastics here in Raglan. It was like my big first major contest. I was 13, and that week I got sponsored as well from my first sponsor, which was Oakley at the time. So I got all these cool gears, and I was only 13, and it gave me a huge confidence booster. And growing up in Raglan, it was my home break, and I was going to school here, and I felt really comfortable. And my dad and all my family and stuff were here, so I always remember that sitting on top of the Surf Academy bus, and I had these crazy old shoes that they'd given me, and a big box of Mars bars, and I was so stoked. And then from that day on, I kind of I won the National Scholastics under 14s. And from that day on, I kind of got the bug, and it kind of just steamrolled from there.
But before that, have you sort of been surfing since you could sort of toddle down to the down to the down to water's edge, or did you quick cut your teeth on touch rugby or
Yeah,
basketball? What were you first into?
yeah. Well, obviously, growing up in New Zealand, everyone wants to play rugby, as a
Yeah.
male, and I was actually pretty good at rugby, but I'm obviously not the biggest biggest of humans. So that kind of got as soon as I started surfing, it kind of got shut down pretty quick. And yeah, I started surfing when I was like 9 or 10. So, and before that, I was skating a little bit, and I was hard out into rugby. I was a little halfback, and I played for Raglan and things like that. And but once I started surfing, I kind of caught the bug really quickly. And growing up here is like one of the best places to live for surf. So it was kind of a natural thing for me. And I found out that I was pretty good, obviously, at a pretty young age, and I got looked after. Yeah, as a young age when I was 13 from Oakley, and they kind of molded my career and helped me kind of achieve what I wanted to achieve. And yeah, it was good to have that support really young. And yeah, it's kind of it's all kind of steamrolled. I went from competing in obviously New Zealand circuit comps, and then the Australian Junior Series when I was 18, 19, and then onto the World Qualifying Series when I was 20 and on until now. And yeah, everything's kind of been an amazing journey. And yeah, it's awesome.
You said that Oakley looks after you and helps you with your career. So is it through those surf brands? I guess what Oakley, your Rip Curls, whatever. Sorry, the other ones. I'm not big surfing. Or is it through New Zealand surfing? How is it? Do you get much support from that from the federation, or do they have a pathway for you, or is it all this through the commercial side?
Yeah, it used to be a bit better money wise.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite a lot easier to get sponsorship, and they were kind of throwing a few more dollars out back a few years ago. And I find now it's kind of harder to find that money out of sponsorship, or out of Surfing New Zealand, or which is funny to me, because I feel like surfing's like such a huge sport, and there's so many people that do surfing and buy their product and stuff. But yeah, as of Surfing New Zealand, they're kind of starting a program at the moment, obviously with the whole Olympics, and they're starting some training camps. Funding not so much at the moment, but they're starting, I guess, give a little pages or fundraisers, to try and help out and get some support from the outside industry. And at the moment, I guess there's not too much money in the surf industry, and especially in New Zealand, because it's quite small, and we get all our brands from overseas, so all the money's kind of overseas. But yeah, I've managed to I've got some cool sponsors at the moment that are really supporting me pretty well, like Backdoor Surf and Surf Shop and Curve, and a few other little ones, that help me out along the way. And kind of at the moment, every little bit counts. And a lot of people want to support, which is awesome. So yeah, hopefully I can take them all on a good journey and head to the Olympics.
And so the Olympics is obviously this is the first time it's been at the Olympics. Is the Olympics the big goal, or is it making that the World League, getting out the qualifying series and getting up to that next level? How would you? What would be success for you?
Definitely the Olympics. The World Surf League was always a dream of mine. That always has been and always will be. But for now, I think my sole focus is the Olympic Games next year. I think because of this year's kind of almost a write-off now because of the pandemic and stuff like that, the World Surf League's kind of, I guess, been postponed and put back. So for now, I want to get fit and healthy for the Olympics and do my best. I've been watching a lot of sports stuff, basketball players and I don't know, the New Zealand Olympians and seeing what they do to train. And, some people train their whole life to just be in the Olympics. So I'm kind of taking that on board as well. And I guess the postponement of it all is it gives us more preparation and more training to get, to get ready and fit and healthy and prepare yourself mentally and physically and get in the right mind frame.
Cool. Now, because it is, as you say, you've been looked after by Oakley, by the sponsors, and they've changed recently. But are you then part of Team Oakley as a crowd with a coach, or are you kind of like, okay, here's some cash, look after yourself, tell us which tours you're going to go on, or we'd like you to turn up here and here? How much is it sort of self motivational, and how much is there a kind of team to help you, kind of thing?
Yeah. Like when I was I'm not with Oakley anymore, but when I was with them, they had a really good team vibe. It wasn't because there was a kind of the separation of eyewear guys and a full apparel and eyewear guy, and I was on the full 100% Oakley at the time, and there wasn't many of us, so it was a kind of a cool team vibe. And previously the sponsors had gone through that before, but we're kind of going through a grey area with that at the time. So being on Oakley was really good to be in a little team and get that support. And at the time, Tom Whitaker had previously been on the World Surf League and achieved a lot during that time. And he was our kind of mentor / coach and was kind of, on our shoulders, helping us out, in heats or where we want to stay, or kind of looking after us as a team. And he's actually a coach for the CT guys now. So yeah, he helped us out, and he helped me personally out a lot. And those guys, they're kind of like my second family now. I still keep in contact with all of those guys and all the bosses over there. And the funny thing is, my wife actually works for Oakley now, so it's kind of it's gone in a full circle. And yeah, I'm really thankful for the opportunities those guys have given me, and they help path my career, I guess, and help me along my journey. And without those guys, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So yeah, I'm very thankful for those guys. And it's definitely self-motivating as well, I think. If you don't really want to compete, or if you're not really hungry to win, I think there's you're kind of just wasting it away. You shouldn't really, but yeah, I mean, definitely give it a go and see how you like it. But for me, I talk to a lot of people and a lot of kids especially, and I kind of, us as Kiwis, we're quite humble and quite quiet as competitors, and we kind of stand back if we see someone that's really good, or but for me, I keep drilling it into them to, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So for me, I'm really hungry and I really want to win, and all those huge opportunities I had to beat, it's like Kelly Slater and Mick Fanning, I kind of stood up and took the opportunity as a huge stepping stone for me, and I kind of took that in my stride and went with it.
Well, yeah, really one of the things on here, Billy Stairmand was once an unheralded surfer from New Zealand who took out 11-time world champion Kelly Slater at a surf contest. Go on then, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I was competing in Margaret River, actually. I think I was 21, so like almost 9 years ago now, in a world qualifying series event, and it was a big one. Then they kind of, all the CT guys or the top guys would do the QSs because there was an awesome waves, and now that Margaret River contest is a world championship tour event. So back then, I it was kind of my second year on the world qualifying series, and I hadn't had too much experience, and you know, I was coming up against the best of all time, you know, the best surfer ever, and you know, it was big. It was quite scary the waves. It was kind of out of my league, but you know, I like going left because I'm obviously growing up in Raglan, and I like going on my backside, and I was riding a pretty big board, but yeah, that heat for me is like the most not nervous I've ever been. Because you know, if I had lost, I was just going to lose to, you know, the best in the world. So you know, so it was just going to be you know, another heat win for him. But for me, I had Tom Whitaker, like I said at the time, was in my corner, and yeah, I was having an awesome week that week. You know, I previously had him in a heat at the start of the contest, but he beat me, so I kind of went out there with, you know, nothing to lose, and I had like the best heat I think I've ever had. Obviously beating Kelly Slater, and I got two really good waves, and um, yeah, it was a pretty surreal feeling. I felt like I won the contest at the time. People wanted to cheer me up the beach, and yeah, do all this crazy stuff. They were interviewing me on people's shoulders and stuff. It was pretty cool, and you know, that kind of helped mold my career definitely to where it is now, and helped out with sponsorship and media, and kind of, you know, put myself in the media, and yeah, it was a huge achievement for me, and not many people will be able to say that, you know, and I'll be able to tell my kids or grandkids or whoever, you know, I'll be able to tell them the story that I beat the best in the world once, and yeah, it's a huge achievement for me, and it was a huge confidence booster, and yeah, it was awesome.
Did he talk to you after the heat?
Yeah, a little bit, you know. He's super competitive, and you know, he plays mind games, and he's really smart competitor and stuff. So for me, it was, you know, I kind of lucked into some really good waves, and did my best surfing I could do. So I think there's a video online that you can watch, and it's pretty funny. I'm wearing all this crazy stuff. I've got long hair, and they kind of just chucked everything on me because I was, you know, it was a huge media hype. And then Kelly Slater was like talking afterwards, and he said he missed the wave and I got the better wave, and you know, he's pretty humble about it, and yeah, no, he didn't really say anything to me, but I could tell he was pretty gutted. But yeah, I was stoked.
So he was kind of come over for the PHAR Pro. Were you lined up for that as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I flew back on the Saturday before it was meant to start on the Monday, and yeah, Kelly had come over. I know he loves golf, and there's a really good golf course up north. I've played golf with him a couple of times, so I knew he was going to come over and kind of, you know, do the surf contest, do a golf trip, and kind of enjoy his time in New Zealand, because I know he loves the golf courses, and I know he likes New Zealand over here. So yeah, I was lined up for PHAR, and it would have been exciting. Unfortunately, I got injured just before that, so I would have, you know, I would have been nursing an injury, which would have sucked in front of a, you know, a home country crowd.
Yep.
So fortunately for me, I get to, you know, prepare for next year's one, and get to put on the rash at 100%. Should be by then, and you know, put on my best performance.
Just quickly on the golf, yeah, I did read recently that the second best golf course outside of America is in Northland, which is probably why
Yeah,
he's up there to play. So yeah, I
yeah,
understand why.
yeah. I think he loves, like, we go to Hawaii at the end of every year, when we spend like over a month, like 6 weeks in Hawaii, on the North Shore, and we play at Turtle Bay, and I know he loves golf, and he's a really good golf player. He probably plays at a scratch or like a one handicap or something. And yeah, I think he's played I think at the new course up north before, so he must love it. It must be a very nice course.
So what do you play off of
Oh,
golf?
no, I'm not that good. I'll probably play off like a 16 or something, a 16, 18, something like that. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's good for the mind. You know, we get all this downtime when the competition gets called off, or the surf's really flat or big and stormy. We kind of, you know, get out on the golf course and kind of switch our minds off to something else. And yeah, it's good concentration. You can lose it a bit when you lose a few balls, or you get the wrong hit, or you miss the ball, or but yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that kind of the people have kind of joked about is that, look, cricketers are perfectly set for this lockdown because they spend a lot of time just sat in the pavilion waiting for go to bat. Is that, I hadn't really thought about surfing like that, but do you have long sets of frustration time where you sort of sat there just looking out the window going, come on, give me some waves, give me something to do? Do you
Yeah,
have to figure out how to
for sure.
fill that time?
For sure. It's been like now kind of coming to the end of the injury, and everyone's kind of coming out of lockdown now. It's definitely getting harder because everyone's got a bit more freedom, and I know I've only got a little bit more time, so I kind of just want to hurry it up and get out there. But
I mean, but you mentioned that even during the normal times, you sometimes have to sit around waiting for waves because it's too flat or it's too stormy. How do you fill that time?
Yeah, for me, like I said, it's golf.
Golf, right.
Yeah, as well. Like here at home, I try and play a lot of sports when I am home. Like basketball, and I try and just kind of do other activities to keep me active and keep me fit. And yeah, I try and get on the road as much as I can. And when we're away, I try and check out the places we are at and enjoy the because we travel to such a beautiful places like America, Hawaii, Japan, Europe, or France, Spain, Portugal. So the downtimes we try and, I don't know, go check out a bit of the scenery, the history, some cool scenic places, and kind of use our time wisely. Or if it's too big and stormy, we'll kind of sit inside and scroll on Instagram or watch some series or something.
So what is your favorite venue around the world outside of New Zealand?
Oh, that's always a good one. Indonesia's really good for waves.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the temperature and the climate and the food and everything's really good in Indonesia. Hawaii is amazing. Kauai is really luscious green. It kind of reminds me of New Zealand a little bit. There's so many beautiful places. Europe's awesome. Portugal's really good waves, and the food's awesome and the coffee's really good. So yeah, I love traveling so much, and I kind of enjoy every moment, even in the airports, I kind of sit down and take it all in and kind of people watch, and we spend pretty much half our time in airports, so you kind of got to make the most of it. And yeah, I just love the whole journey of surfing and the competitive surfing and traveling.
So I've been chatting with a few beach volleyball players recently, and part of they have basically an Asia tour and then a European tour. And one of the issues they have around with that is trying to get, especially in Asia, is kind of the performance food before tournament, and that actually going on holiday somewhere and going to compete somewhere is two different things. And so you mentioned the food there in Bali, well, not Bali, sorry, Indonesia as a whole. How do you have to watch your diet running up to a competition, or and what you eat to make sure you don't get stomach upsets and things? How attuned to your body? How much is nutrition and that kind of stuff important to you?
Yeah, it's huge. Previously, it wasn't so much, but now I think I'm kind of watching what I eat a little bit more, and it is hard when you travel because it's just you're kind of on the go all the time, and you don't have time to sit down and prepare meals. But for us, I guess I try and stay at like Airbnbs with kitchens, not so much hotel rooms, just so you can buy your own fresh product and cook your own meals instead of getting takeaways all the time. And you're kind of feeling fat and slobby and yuck. We've started to get into a bit of a routine because I've done it for so long now, and I kind of know the places pretty much everywhere we go. We almost stay at the same place every time and eat at the same places, and yeah, we're kind of getting everything kind of sorted out now. And yeah, for me, I just like to stay at Airbnb with maybe a couple of my mates and maybe some Aussies or a couple of Kiwis, Ricardo, or whoever wants to travel, and then we kind of buy bulk food and cook up every night and eat leftovers and surf our brains out.
And that traveling, you're not traveling with like a coach, a physio, a mental skills coach, a chef, nutritionist. It is just you, right? That's traveling. So how do you cope with things like getting, if you need to be strapped up, or if you need some massages and stuff? Do you pair up with other surfers, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah, the last year and a half, I've kind of been traveling by myself. Last year actually was probably one of my better years. And I traveled by myself. I could do my own things. I could eat whatever I wanted. I didn't have to wait around for everyone else. And at the contest, they do have at the bigger contests, they do have physios and masseuses and doctors on hand. So if anything does happen, they're there to help. And if you want to get touched up, or your shoulder's feeling sore, or you need some acupuncture or something, they're always there to help out. So yeah, we're really fortunate to have those big events and have those really good staff there. They look after us pretty well, so that's really good. But yeah, like I said, I've been traveling by myself pretty much. I kind of the longer events or the leagues, if we go to Europe for 6 weeks or we go to Hawaii for 6 weeks, I'll pair up with a couple maybe Aussies and Kiwis and kind of get a group together and travel together and rent a car for ages and do all that kind of stuff. So it makes it a bit cheaper and easier for everyone. And but for instance, I went to Bali last year by myself, and I managed to get 5th there, and then I stayed in Burley as well, and by myself at a friend's house, and I won the event there. So I kind of did really well. I was mentally in my own mind and mentally ready, and physically I kind of could do whatever I wanted. I was feeling healthy and fit and in the right mind frame. So it kind of paid off for me, and yeah. Hopefully, I'll take that on to the next tour.
And talk about that mentally, because I mean, you kicked off your in around sort of 2010ish when you got the tour. Looking at the stats I managed to find, with some good results at places like the O'Neill Coldwater Classic in Santa Cruz. So that's over in the States, right? The following year, you got the Fantastic Noodles Kangaroo Island Pro, like a good one, and the Drug Aware Pro, and and then the Australian Open was a good one in 2012. So you sort of kicked off really kind of well. 2014 looks like it was a really good season, and then things fell apart in 2017, 2018ish. Did you drop down to from being in the kind of like 50s ranking down to sort of 150 to 200 odd? I guess first of all, what happened there, and then afterwards we'll have a chat about how you turned it around.
Yeah, obviously I had a really good start to my career in the World Qualifying Series. I actually won a huge event in Spain, 2010, I think it was. It was the 6,000, and I, that kind of, and we had a good role. Like I was saying, we were traveling with myself, Jay Quinn, and Ricardo Christie at the time. And we had like a little, it was called a Suitcase Surfers. It was like a little blog at the time, and we were having a lot of fun. They'd done it for a couple of years already, so I was the new guy, and I kind of could gel off them and learn from those guys. And we were kind of pushing each other at the same time, and we were really supportive of each other too. So that year was probably one of my better years, bigger contest results. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, the 2017, 2018, I was going through a bit of a tough time, I guess, I wasn't getting the results I wanted to get, and my mum was really sick. She had breast cancer, so it was kind of a tough time for me. And then at the end of 2018, I think it was, my mum passed away with breast cancer. So I kind of hit rock bottom, and after that I lost my main sponsor, so I pretty much had to start from scratch. I didn't have my mother, I didn't have a sponsor, I had a beautiful girlfriend here at home and my dad and stuff, and I had support here at home, but I'd lost a lot. So yeah, it was pretty hard to start again, and I had to get a proper job that I've hadn't really had before, and kind of go off my own back for a little bit, and it kind of made me realize what I really wanted to do, and that was compete and surf for a living. And so I kind of I went through a bit of a downtime, and my wife kind of helped me through it a little bit, and I started to work, and I kind of didn't want to work anymore. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm pretty keen to I never really left. I still did the nationals, and I still did the smaller events that I could do, but I was trying to fight back again, and it kind of brought a little bit more hunger back. I'd done it for so long before, and I had got given everything, and I had good results, and then it kind of came crashing down pretty quick. So I hit the bottom, and then I started to climb back up again and work, and I slowly started to get I was going through a bit of a tough time with my surfboards, and I was riding all sorts of different surfboards, and then another board sponsor, Sharp Eye Surfboards, jumped on board at the start of last year, 2019, and then mentally I started working with a kind of a mental coach who is a friend of mine, Albie. His name's Albie, and his work name is Body Rehab. So he helped me out a lot, and he always told me, you don't want to be walking around with a heavy backpack, kind of weighs you down. So we kind of worked on that, and kind of letting go of a few things, and kind of opened up my surfing a lot more, and it was a lot more free. And I got that hunger back, and I was kind of doing it for myself as well as my mum, who was always going to be there with me. So, and obviously my wife and my family as well at home. So it kind of brought back a bit more hunger, and especially at the Olympics as well was a huge goal. I'm 30 now, so I really wanted to fight for that, because I don't know how long I've got in me or whatever. But going by Kelly's ladder, I've probably got a few more years. But yeah, it kind of brought a huge or a bit more drive to what I really wanted, and I kind of chased it really hard. And I guess last year was probably one of my most consistent years, and I wasn't even in the big events. So this year was going to be kind of my breakthrough year. I had the Olympics coming up, and I had all the 10,000s, and I kind of fought my my way back up into the big leagues, and it was going to be a huge year. And then obviously the pandemic happened, and then the injury happened, so it's almost like a setback again. But if anything, it's making me more hungry again. Before, again, it's all a learning curve for me. Before, I previously wasn't training so much as I am now, so it's if the injury is almost like a kick up the backside for me. I'm using it as a driving force, and a time to kind of get my body more ready than it has ever been. And like I said before, the Olympics coming up, so I really want to focus on that and training for that. And yeah, so it's kind of been an up and down battle, but yeah, we're here now, and it's been an awesome career, and I can't wait for what's to come, obviously with the Olympics and the World Surf League, and yeah, what's to come in the near future.
Well, sorry to hear about your mum, but it explains why you did half the events or something like that during 2018, and why you didn't do as much. But it really sounds like that what you've done over the past year and a bit is one of the things I talked about with the volleyball players is that they learn their body. It sounds like you've learnt your mind or your character and your focus around how to do what you're supposed to be doing, rather than learning your body as they do as they get through. It seems like you've really learnt yourself, and that's been the big step that's gone from being don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of got it. You had early success. It sort of came easy because you're good, and then you kind of learn, actually, okay, now this is how I actually have to do it to really do it. Whereas before,
for sure. Like for instance, before I'd be out in the heats, and I wouldn't. My mind would just kind of wander off and think about something that happened last week, or thinking about something that was going to happen next week, or and now I'm kind of, I sit out there, and I've got my own little things, and I kind of focus on it, task at hand. I look at the ocean, and certain waves come around, and I think about what maneuvers I'm going to do on the next wave. So yeah, I've definitely worked a lot on my mental game, and it's obviously paid off. And yeah, thanks to Albie, obviously, in New Plymouth, who's helped me out a lot. Obviously, there's some other people that have helped me out as well, physically and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely working on a lot on the mental game, and it's paid off.
And it sounds like, because when you were talking about with that heat with Kelly Slater, and I've got some no expert on surfing, but you said, like, I got two waves. It sounds like we're talking about here is that you've got sort of months preparation. You come to an event and you have one opportunity, maybe two opportunities, and if you don't strike those, you're out. And so getting that, being in the right place for that one split second of catching that wave is going to make the difference between being good and very good.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'll try to go to an event, because all the events are different. All the conditions are different. They can be big and small. Hawaii's massive. Manly's tiny. Piha's different again. So for me, I'll try and go to a contest. For instance, the start of this year, I went to 2, 3 contests before the big ones that are probably, could have not easily done, because you don't really get any points or money or anything for it. But for me, I was using it as a warm up, because I hadn't competed all summer, so I went over there early. I got in, I'll watch the conditions, I'll surf the conditions, I'll test out all my boards, and find out what is going to work for me that week. I'll try and stay with the right people, I'll try and eat the right food, try and stay at the right place, and try and put all the pieces together to hopefully do the best contest you can. And if you're in the right mind frame, you're obviously going to be more relaxed, you're going to be more calm, you're going to make the right decisions, and you're obviously hopefully going to do better in the contest, and a lot of it is down to wave selection, and what you do on the waves, obviously, and at times it can be tough, and at times it can just come easily to you. A wave just pops up with 30 seconds to go, and you need a small score, and it just happens to, pop up in the right direction. And I think a lot of it is manifestation as well. You visualize and you think about if it's going to happen or what's going to happen. It will happen. For instance, I was the Olympics qualifier last year in Japan. I really put my mind and everything into making that, or getting that spot. There was 3 of us going for it, and I knew one of us would probably get it. So for me, it was solely a personal goal of mine, and it was hard because Kehu and Ricardo were personally really good friends, and we're there as a team. But obviously, we've all got our own goals, and I was just really focused that week, and I was really proud of what I'd achieved, and I bet some of the best surfers in the world that week as well. So I think if you really put your mind to anything, you can do it, and I definitely believe that 100%. And it's definitely kind of showed on previous contests, and same as Burley contest I won last year. It's a right hander, which is my front side, which is not known as my best side, but I think the waves are kind of suited to my conditions. It was pretty small, and I had really good boards, and mentally, again, I was in the right mind frame, and I kind of overcome everyone in the contest. I had a lot of good surfers to beat, and it kind of, I kind of put my mind to it. I visualized it, I manifested it, and it kind of paid. It worked out that I won the contest. So I think if you put your mind to it, you can definitely achieve what you want.
Yeah, and it sounds like you a business term, the 5 Ps, or preparation prevents poor performance, which I think is something you've figured out there. Yeah, that preparation is a big thing for you. You've mentioned boards. How many surfboards do you have, and how many do you travel with?
I've got quite a few boards here at home now. I'm very thankful for my sponsor, Sharpeye. They've shipped me some really good boards, and I only got sponsored by them like a year and a half ago now. So as soon as I got them, they went magic, and they kind of suited my surfing. So I've got probably 10 boards here at home. I travel with about 5 or 6, depending on where I go. If I go to Hawaii, I probably got 10 boards there, 15 boards there, because it gets from 2 foot to 20 foot, pretty quickly, and all different kind of clean or junky and windy conditions. So you've got to be prepared, and obviously it's really expensive to get all those boards, but luckily for me, I don't have to pay for those. I just give them back, and they, I give them back to Backdoor, and they sell them on, as second handies. So we've got my normal.
No, they go some off as signed ones. You sign them.
Yeah. Well, they're surfed by me, so yeah. So my normal size board is a 5'7", which is about my height. It's got 24 liters, which is, pretty small, really. That's a really small board compared to everyone else. I guess competitively, I'm only 5'7", 65 kg, so I'm pretty little, and everyone always looks at my boards. Oh, they're pretty small, but they go really good for me. And that I've got anywhere from a 5'7" to like a 5'11", 6'0" here at home. But I've got boards in Hawaii that I leave there that go up to like a 7'0". So it kind of varies depending on the conditions and where you are, I guess, in the world. So
you leave some boards in Hawaii. Do you have stocks around the world, or is that the only place you leave a few
No,
boards?
that's the only place. Just because it gets huge, and you don't really need 7-foot boards here in New Zealand,
Yeah.
normally. So yeah, I kind of, the boards that you ride over there, you don't really ride anywhere else. It's just totally different over there. You know, it's big open ocean, crazy powerful waves, and it's such a cool experience surfing over there, and I love it so much. I had a really good year at the end of last year, and got a pretty good result to finish off the year. So yeah, I love competing in Hawaii, and it's just crazy. It's big, it's stormy, you know, it's very nice. It's really nice weather usually all the time, and there's a really nice golf course, so we always have a good time over there, and yeah, I love it.
So have you left it? Do you have a set of golf clubs you leave over there as well?
Nah, I wish. I normally rent them, but I might have to start leaving a set of golf clubs over there.
As well. Yep. So you've lots of this travel on your own. Any kind of funny stories whilst you've been on tour of whether sort of broken down cars in the middle of nowhere, or suddenly you doing a bit of storm chasing and so having to fly across or having to sort of jump in a car and drive across the continent to get through a tournament or anything like that happened?
Yeah, there's been some good stories for sure. I mean, one that pops up is, remember when that volcano hit in Europe somewhere, and
Oh, Iceland.
yeah,
Yep.
so we were stuck up in Scotland, I think it was, doing a contest up there, and we had a contest in France pretty much straight after it, and so we couldn't fly, so and it was like literally that we had to compete in France the next day pretty much, because the guys I was traveling with, Jay actually made the final in the event, so we were there for the last day, you know. So usually it goes from Monday to Sunday each event, and if it's in Europe or if you've got a leg, it goes pretty much Monday to Sunday straight away again, so you don't really have much turnaround. So yeah, we had to drive from Scotland all the way to France, and like, yeah, it's overnight. You know, I think I had to compete the next day, and it was crazy. Like all the we rocked up to the airport, and all the flights had got cancelled, and we had to drive so long. And all of us were taking turns, and we were drinking Red Bulls and trying to push on through the night through England and get on the ferry straight away. And it was. I mean, there's so many stories. Like I could go on and on forever. But yeah, I really cherish the moments that I had to have with my friends on tour, and yeah, there's a lot of experiences. You know, we go to all these beautiful places, and we have all these funny times, and you know, we meet a lot of amazing people, and see some cool cultures. So I wish my memory could definitely video a lot of things and store it forever. But yeah, no, it's been an awesome journey.
Well, 3 or 4 of you in a car with getting on for about 15 surfboards.
Yeah, probably about 4 or 5 board bags on top of the roof, all jammed in with like 4 or 5, like, you know, roller bags in the back, and we just can't even fit anywhere. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, because you say you're on tour for 3 or 4 weeks or more, so you have, yeah, you're literally living out of a suitcase, or
Yeah,
as well. So yeah, there's the amount of stuff. Yeah, seeing you all pile into
into a small as rental car with like a little
Renault
Toyota Corolla or something.
Crowley.
Yeah, all jammed into this like 4-seater and no boot. It's just jam packed. Boards on the roof, probably bags on the roof as well. It's raining.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. So, how old is it? I mean, how long do you think you can keep going for? I mean, the volleyball guys say that, look, you actually peak in your late 30s, early, and even into your 40s. I mean, obviously, surf not being a contact sport. Again, can you keep going to your late 30s? Do you think?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. I definitely think like I feel better than I ever have before. Surfing wise, like physically wise, and mentally. Like I think mentally now I'm more stronger than ever. So I think that for me now that's a huge part of competing, and yeah, I think now, like I said, I think I'm the best, like a better competitor than I ever have been, and I think my surfing's getting a lot better. It's a little bit of a setback with the injury, but I don't think I'll be, you know, I'll come back pretty quickly, and like I'm very hungry to surf and competing and get back to my peak performance as soon as I can. So yeah, I think I've got a few more years. I hope I've got a few more years for sure. Obviously, it kind of depends on a bit of sponsorship and things like that. And if my wife will let me keep traveling the world without it. But yeah, I think I've got a few more years for sure. And obviously, I want to make the World Surf League, and I want to do the Olympics as well. So I've got at least 2 more years, I think, for sure.
Okay, to me, I was thinking, look, yeah, you've got if you're going to, because you say you're 30, you could have another 10 years to go.
Yeah.
So not only Tokyo but also France for the Olympics, and maybe even the one after that. Plus, so there's plenty of career left, or plenty of a journey left to go. On that work side of things, that you do, have you sort of planned as to what your what you might do post surfing?
I haven't. I've thought a little bit. I thought I was going to be a teacher for a little bit. I'm quite good with kids. I also like coaching kids. I've done a bit of coaching before. I want to do a bit of a camp with some kids, like a fun weekend camp, and you go skating and surfing and a tag team event, and do all these things. I've got a few little ideas, but I haven't really thought about hanging the jersey up yet. So I do want to set something up before I leave surfing. And I think with the whole Olympics and the World Surf League and everything's kind of going in the right direction, it's a good opportunity for me to start something up, or get a bit of a following, or I don't know, get a bit of backing behind something before, if anything does happen. So I'm super interested, maybe to start some coaching, or some camps around New Zealand, or I like working especially with my sponsors as well. Like, for instance, I went to see a friend's kid in the hospital who was sick before the lockdown and everything, and that was really beneficial for me. I felt like I'd kind of given back a little bit, and I'd love to do a lot more of that, because I know I'm a ambassador for Giltrap Skoda at the moment, and they do a lot of good stuff with Starship Hospital. So I'd like to get on board with that a little bit more, and do some fun activities, or get involved with some kids, and kind of make them a little bit more excited, because obviously they're not in the best opportunities, so I'd like to do more of that. And but yeah, money wise, I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure that out.
And you said, you talk about building up a following. So where is the best place for people to follow and catch up on your results and catch up on your journey as you go around with your surfing?
You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram's just Billy Stairmand. Same Facebook. I've got a TikTok. I don't really use that, but I've got that. Twitter, I think. But I might even start up a new website soon, and do some merchandise and stuff like that. Some fun stuff to get a bit of following and a bit more support. I guess it's a fun way for people to support my journey, as well as getting something back. So all those things you can follow me on.
There you go, cool. So it sounds like Instagram and Facebook are the two. TikTok and Twitter are a bit less a bit less frequently updated.
Definitely Instagram. Instagram's the one I'm mostly on.
Okay, so get on the gram, folks. Thank you much, Billy. It's been fantastic talking to you, and good luck with that, particularly the Olympic journey, but also good luck with your injury recovery
Awesome.
as well, folks. If you've enjoyed this, obviously, please share it with your friends. Like the Facebook page, New Zealand Sports Radio, and if you prefer to listen on the go rather than watch, then we download the podcast. Again, just search for New Zealand Sports Radio on Acast, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all those places where you'll get other episodes of The Long Talk.